Previously on Qur'an Gangbang.
If Muhammad can answer these questions correctly, then he truly is a prophet.
I'm gonna need to confer with Allah, like obviously. How many sleepers was in the cave? Ah, only Allah knows the actual number. Oh my God, yeah, you are so mind-bogglingly handsome. Oh, do you really think so? Oh yeah, I mean, every time I look at you, I literally come. Anyway, I was just wondering, yeah, like, what exactly have you been doing for the past 2 weeks or whatever? What do you mean? I mean, like, when them pagans asked you them 3 questions, yeah, and you didn't know any of the answers, like, where the fuck did you go? Oh, nowhere? Well, first and foremost, I just stayed at home and I prayed and waited for Allah to reveal everything to me when he was ready. And finally, question number 3, yeah? Remember, this is your last chance to prove you really are a prophet, mate. You ready? Oh, I was born ready, bitches. Right. What happened to the great traveller who journeyed to the ends of the earth in the east and west?
We'll be needing some fresh information that only a messenger of God could have access to.
I don't like to brag, yeah, but I am pretty confident that you are gonna be totally blown away by all the completely new and original information I have in store for you. And we don't want to hear any scientifically impossible nonsense that you've just recycled from an old story. Oh my God, what do you take me for? And you're definitely not just gonna say, only Allah knows, like for the 3rd fucking time. Of course not. Look, I am gonna give you the most comprehensive answer ever. You won't have heard nothing like it in your entire life. Okay guys, who would like to recite the relevant verse for me? Anybody else? Fine, just try to speak nice and clearly this time.
I will now give first public recital of the 100% historically accurate account of how Allah took a humble, pious man and endowed him with the power to rule over a kingdom that stretched across the whole world. Verily, we established his power on earth and we gave him the ways and the means to all ends. So he followed away until he reached the setting of the sun. He found its setting in spring of dark mud and he found near it a people. Chapter 18, verse 84, 2 fat ladies, 88.
I thought you said this was going to be something new. Everyone's already heard that story 1,000,000 times.
No, they have not. It's a completely original revelation recited to me this morning by the angel Gabriel.
You lying sack of shit. You just plagiarized the whole thing from an old fable.
Oh my God, if there's one thing I can't stand is when people try to pass off somebody else's intellectual property as their own work.
I can't believe anyone would seriously think they could get away with something like that. How am I supposed to have plagiarized an old story when I'm completely illiterate?
Islam is true because Muhammad can't read.
Hardly anyone can read around here. In this culture, people tend to share stories orally.
Oh my God, he said orally.
Alright then, if you don't think the Qur'an is the authentic word of Allah, just bring me one single passage like it.
If you're in doubt concerning that which we have sent down to our servant, meaning Muhammad, then bring a surah like it. Surah means like chapter of it.
Sure, here you go. Peace.
Okay, but all I'm asking you to do is to bring 10 like it. Guys, right, this says Alexander and his troops went up to the fetid sea, to the place where the sun sets, and he saw the people who dwell there. Oh my god, this is shit! It is nothing like the Qur'an, you prick.
Yeah, it doesn't even rhyme. And it's not even written in Arabic, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And that is why I challenged him to bring me just one single passage like the Qur'an.
It's pretty obvious to everybody here that your story is based on the legends of Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great? Don't be ridiculous. First and foremost, the guy that I'm talking about was a Muslim. I mean, the Qur'an specifically says so. And everybody knows that Alexander the Great was a pagan.
He was a great man, and many great nations have tried to claim him as their own.
That's right. To the Persians, he was a Persian prince, and to the Egyptians, he was an Egyptian god. Even the Christians and the Jews have claimed him as their own. There's even a funny story about him building a giant gate to hold back the people of Gog and Magog until Judgment Day. Can you imagine a giant gate made out of iron and copper?
Are you listening to this?
Yeah, something about a giant wall made out of iron and copper or whatever.
You see, this is what happens when stories are shared orally. People often mishear words, forget the details, or add their own embellishments, and hey presto, a modified version of the story emerges. It wasn't a wall, it was a gate.
Psst, trust me, yeah, it was a wall. Now look, just because you can see a few minor similarities between my story and some sort of an old fable, it doesn't mean that I plagiarized anything. I mean, have you never heard of a coincidence before?
Okay, let me ask you this. Does the character in your story have any distinguishing physical features?
What, Mr. Two Horns? Yeah, he's got these two massive horns sticking out of the top of his head.
Bingo! You are an embarrassment. Peace.
Do you want me to chop his head off?
What? No, of course not. Why would I want you to chop his head off?
Oh, sorry. For some reason, I always feel this overwhelming sense of moral outrage whenever anybody insults you.
Me too.
Yeah, and mine.
Oh, that is really sweet of you guys, but it specifically says in the Qur'an that there will be people who insult and ridicule the Prophet. Therefore, epistemologically speaking, if nobody made fun of me, then the Qur'an wouldn't actually be true. Allahu Akbar! One banana, two banana, three banana, four. Give me better days, give me better days.